And then, like, holy shit, this guy's just the GOAT of modern times, you know? Or some even say, you know, we're not getting into that because I know some of you guys are always touchy about it, but I'll say it. Alright, it's going to be a standard opener for both. It's actually, I'm not surprised to see this. I'm sure we'll see a little bit of diversity in build order. But Mixu and DRG, both very standard players, typically. And both like Ling Bane's, I don't know. Both like Ling. Man, my brain is shot, so excuse me, guys. And after we've been up the 6K tournament in a while, like in about an hour and change, Patches has put it on. Anybody can play. Any of you from any server, as long as you're under 6K MMR, you could have 1,000 MMR. You could have not played in a long time and have the game installed. And you can play. You're playing Finesse. Nice. And Florencio and I will be casting together. Patches is going to be streaming and casting as well with his buddy. It's been a long time since I casted with Flo. Man, my brain. Did I have a stroke, guys? Did you guys witness me having a stroke on stream? That's how it feels right now. Aye. Mixing up words. Not feeling good. I think I've over party-hardied too much. Or maybe I'm just slowly turning into the Ozzy Osbourne of StarCraft 2. I'll be like, Sharon! Yeti! Fingers crossed Flo makes it. Why, he had to go? He said he might just be taking a break. He said he'd make it. I DM'd him. He probably has to get something to eat. I don't blame him to go get something to eat. Alright. Anyway, as we get into it, we do have a Baneling Nest coming down for Mixu, as well as DRG. See what I'm saying? It's very picture-perfect standard opener for both. Neither of them even getting the 2 Lings over for Harass in time. Actually, these two are just going to go, as well as DRG. It's like a gentleman's agreement. No, they're just going to go back to defend. So we might actually see something cooler. In a weird way, when you open standard and allow your opponent to get a 3rd hatch, and you both have a Baneling Nest and your metabolic boost at the same time, and you get into it, that's where we can see a possible build order diversity where it gets a little weird. But we're likely to see a very big Ling Bane war where stuff gets crazy fast. So as much as you're like, oh, it's a standard opener, this is ZVZ. It's just, you don't even see that many these days, so. Alright, I don't know about this. DRG almost yeets a Baneling into 1 Zergling. That's definitely not the trades you're looking for. It's all about little tiny trades in ZVZ. When it's Ling Bane Wars. Okay, that's a good move by DRG. Mixu actually doing okay. Is possibly going to lose this Overlord, though. Mixu is... Yeah, he's waiting until it's off creep, and he's going to get a surround. Oh, does he get a full surround? No, he doesn't. DRG has too many Lings. That being said, Mixu is ahead on drones. Is going into the Roach Warren and +1. Even getting a Spine Crawler in the front. DRG does have his... Actually, he's going to have Roaches faster, so... This is going to be a little different. So Mixu's going to have to fight, like, unspeed, unupgraded Roaches at first, potentially. Oh my god, look at that from DRG. Now, both of them, I usually have to commend either of them when they're playing against Protoss or Terran. Their Ling Run buys are really good. But when you're good at Ling Run buys and your opponent's good at Ling Run buys, that's what makes this kind of spicy. Both of these guys kind of in a similar play style to a point. DRG is obviously the more experienced favored player. DRG's been around forever. How you doing, Reza? Mixu, obviously a younger guy from Finland. He's on my team, by the way. Berserker Esports. Yeah, exactly. We had some crazy trades here and there. Oh, the Ling makes it. So the important thing, too, which I did mention, for those of you that don't know, it's saying anything for everybody that knows more than me, which is plenty of you. In ZVZ, the important thing, too, is scouting for Lings. Let's take a look at the trades. So obviously, Mixu's traded less efficiently. He's lost a drone. He's lost 21 Lings and 1 Bane, but ultimately, he's still ahead on drones. And they're both on the same amount of gases. DongRegu's just going for +1. Mixu, I'm surprised, hasn't built any roaches. Like, DongRegu, I'm surprised, didn't just go and outright kill him. In a way, I feel like he could have. He was going for little harasses. These guys want to play a bit more of a game. Thing is, Mixu actually has a +1 range attack advantage, and here's why. He's going to risk going Mutas. Even though he has the +1 advantage, he's getting glial reconstitution. He's going to be able to still make roaches, but he's going into Mutalisks, which there may not be an answer for if it goes unscouted. That being said, this is what I'm talking about. Scouting is important, and why he built this in his third base location, guys, is for this reason. The Overseer going in the main is obviously a pretty standard move. It's going to at least buy him time and delay some queens being made, delay some spines being made. Oh, it's going to be scouted, however, by DongRegu. Still, I don't hate this because the contingency plan, and we're seeing it, is Mixu's going into roaches. He's going to start production, and that be that. He does have a later 4th hatch, which could be impactful, but at the same time, DongRegu going into... He's just getting his +1 ranged attacks right now. Hydrodon coming. Mixu is like halfway done with his... He's practically halfway done with his ranged attacks. The thing is, Mixu does not have a lot of roaches. He doesn't have roach speed either. No, he does. What am I talking about? He had it first. It doesn't matter with the upgrades. Now, look at this amount of roaches. Mutas don't really do jack shit to roaches, especially at face value. They're armored units. Mutas kind of do extra damage to light. That's why I use them for worker harass, etc. Third base now in trouble. It's going to be a problem. These spines need to get up, but there's so many roaches, they can one-shot things. A nice cancels by Mixu. Still, he's losing 10 drones. I just don't think he has the army to deal with this. 11 Hydras in production is actually terrifying for him. I think we're going to see the end of Mr. Mixu here, possibly. Yeah, it's looking rough for Mixu, I'm not going to lie. 67 to 49 drones. Some of that has spines and spores being made. GG's called. DongRegu going to take the first map pretty handedly. Abel Cuckton. All right, guys. We got an hour till I cast with Flow. We're going to get into game number 2 here. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. All right, here we are. Out of force of habit. Spawning the upper left-hand corner. He does have a point on the board in the series. Again, these are some groups that I missed, or group series that I missed in this group stage D. The OSC Masters Cup number 148. It is DongRegu, our Blue Zerg player. His opponent at the bottom right in the red. Give it up for Mixu. DongRegu going for a 15 pool or hatch. Let's see. It looks like he's going for 15 hatch. Usually it's 15 hatch, 15 pool at this level. There are some other builds you can do for all ends and stuff. So he's going for a faster hatchery. Mixu going for a 16 hatch. Nothing too cheeky here. So DongRegu is definitely going to have a faster hatchery. That's about it for the moment. Even going for the Overlord. He's playing a little greedier, basically. But he's more than likely got a build in mind as a follow-up. Alrighty. Anyway, behind this, just our Overlord's going up. DongRegu going for the pool, like I said, after. And that be his plan. He has a faster hatch and a faster pool. So consequently, faster lings and a faster queens. He might even go 2 queens. It's not uncommon to see. Like right off the rip. I don't think you'll have the money for it typically, but we'll see. Hatchery's going to finish shortly. Mixu's is going to be, you know, it's just like a knife's edge lead. There are builds with a 15 hatch you can do that are speedling all-ins that are pretty nasty, too. In this matchup. Alright, that being said, DRG going right to the natural with one of the drones. Mixu is going to be finishing up his pool in a second as well. And again, here it is. It's 2 queens. So he's just going for double queens. He wants those injects. He wants a production advantage, and he wants an economy advantage. And he might even do something cheeky, though he's not rushing the gas. It's entirely possible he still does something extra cheeky. Mixu should be pulling off gas right now. See, look at that. I called it. Just keeping 2 drones on. He's probably going to open very standard again. Mixu is going to scout this. See the queen coming out. And he's going to retreat with this overlord right here. Alright, guys. Sorry about my scroll rate's off. So if somebody could remind me before the next one. I do obs quite a bit. It'd be kind of nice if I didn't have this. It seems like I'm zipping around too much. It's a new mouse I got, so I think I'm going to have to put on the software after. Because this is like crazy flying around for me. It's the stage that I'd use normally. So bear with me. New mice and keyboards, you know? Our third hatch going down from Mixu, as you saw. Metabolic boost is going to be completed soon. DRG's just building drones. He's building drones. He built another set of queens, and that's it. So he literally just has queens. That's all. Mixu could sniff this out and just hammer on the link key. But DRG is going to start a wall. I think he's going for kind of a Sue-like play. Maybe. Let's see. He has his layer coming, his Roach-Warn and Evo Chamber. Skipping Metabolic Boost, so he's likely to go into Roaches. But this is... he might go 2-base Muta. But this is very likely... It looks like 2-base Muta. Those of you Zerg players here are probably like, Dave, it's 2-base Muta. Not necessarily. I think this is very likely to be exactly a +1 Roach timing. He's going to go for a 9 Roach +1 timing attack. If I was to guess. Luckily, Mixu, obviously a good Zerg player, is going to react and gets a Roach-Warn of his own. Gonna be just a little behind him on that. His Evo Chamber is quite late though. And there's no trans... Okay, he just barely has time to get a transfuse in. 4 Overlords popping at the same time. Glial Reconstitution coming on a whim. And at the same time, Roachy boys are coming out. Layer just now being started for Mr. Mixu behind this all. And we do have Glial Reconstitution already on the way as well for DRG. So he's going for that timing attack. There it is, 9 Roaches. He's going to keep pumping out Roaches. His queens are out of position, though. The Roach is getting clumped up here, and the queens are off creep. The one with more energy is going to go down. It looks... Oh, barely stays alive. Still, what he wants to do is catch Overlords. Spreading creep. He's going to make his Roaches get across the map faster. Glial Reconstitution not being researched by Mixu, which I don't blame him. He has his 3rd hatch, so that's more production, though. But DRG might be able to hit this timing. Actually, he's just chilling for a minute. He's just going to go for a big mass of Roaches and push across the map on +1 in Glial. Does the queen get the Overlord? That's the question. On the other side of the map, +1's going to be done eventually here. So DRG has the clock ticking. If he wants his advantage, honestly, I wouldn't hate him pushing in the next couple seconds. Let's make it some Ravagers first. That's kind of smart. That being said, none on the other side. He is... see why he has a creep here, guys? It's to get them across the... It's to get them across the map sooner, and he's going to even bring 2 queens with him so he can transfuse. So he's... Even though the opponent has creep as well, he does have that Glial. He needs attack now. Look at this, guys. +1 finishing for Mixu behind. Why isn't it jumping over? Very shortly. He should go attack DRG. He wants the queens in position, I guess, but... Realistically, I don't think it matters. Going when you have the attack advantage. Mixu's numbers can go, and it is an army supply advantage as well. Queens are off creep. He can't transfuse. Kind of hit some of the ones I didn't think he was going to with the transfuses. The Corrosive Biles narrowly missing. Some hitting decently. He almost eats his own biles. Still, he wants to take advantage of this economy lead. And realistically, this is pretty much an all-in from DRG. Can Mixu hold, guys? That's the question. Mixu now has +1 as well. Doesn't have glial reconstitution. If this goes on, he could actually pump out some Lings and get a surround, which will actually help a little bit, even without upgrades. I know Lings die easy to roaches, especially with +1, but they can also help to get the surround. And I wouldn't have hated some being pumped out. A couple sets. DRG actually starting to fall apart a little bit. He is on 2 hatcheries. Again, this is very, very committed from our Korean Zerg player. But I think Mixu might actually hold this. It's possible. DRG has a terrifying army supply. Mixu has still a little bit of a lead with his 3rd hatch, so he can pump out some more. I wouldn't hate seeing him go into Carapace or something again. He can do some cheeky stuff. Now that as the roach count and Ravager count grows, that's where you lose your window where you can do some cheeky stuff with wraparounds, the Zerglings, and then maybe land corrosive vials of his own. He only has the 1 Ravager. All right. The front-facing baby chick queen, as we call it, you know. That's what I'm calling it anyway. It's going to be a bit of a problem. Mixu is really trying here. He is really stretched thin. He's going to lose a queen. Almost 2 even. DRG's army supply is just flowing across the map here, as you see. The GG is called. And that's 2 for DRG. Yeah, he could have... I think he was pretty close to holding, but there were a few little mistakes, obviously. That was a close one. If he had... I honestly wouldn't have hated a spine or 2. It sounds crazy, but if he could have got a spine or 2, if nothing else, and he couldn't think, that could have made the difference. Count Bebop, we have another tournament. This is the OSC Masters Cup. I don't have this linked right here. Usually I'm on TL.net. This is 2 series of Group Stage D that I didn't get to cast. Or rather, one of them I somehow forgot, because I do it from replays. They play it. It's never... The scores aren't reported. Let me get it for you right now. It's the Masters Cup number 148 for OSC, the Online Sports Championship. I will link that to you right now. Actually, I can do it right here. Yeah, ! OSC does it. Look at that. You already have it. That bottom link right there, the Liquipedia link. And we are headed into the playoffs, actually. So the playoffs will be coming up pretty soon. All right, guys, we're going into Trigger versus YoungYakov. As Roddy calls him. I used to always call him YoungYakov. I'm like, well, with a name like that, maybe Roddy's right. All right. See, game number 1. Little PVZ for you. Impressive from Mixu, and yeah, DRG is quite good. Mixu's quite good too, but DRG's been playing forever. He's literally the OG. He's basically the OG of StarCraft 2 right now for Koreans. Excuse me, and honestly other regions as well. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Elcione. From Basilisk Gaming, it is Trigger, the Canadian. His opponent in the upper right, from Twisted Minds, in the blue, it is YoungYakov. Welcome, Matt, and welcome, Count Bebop. And Abel Bacon. And Reza Kuktin. I mean, what? Nizaro Bari. Trigger is going for a hatch block, it would appear. Let's see what we get for this game. Animaniacs, yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of Animaniacs when I was younger, but I definitely... A lot of shows like that. I was kind of... let me think, when Animaniacs was out. I liked a lot of stuff around that. I'm just drawing a blank right now, Abel Bacon, but... I definitely watched it. I definitely had watched it, sir. I can't even remember shit about it. How you doing, Mr. Meow Meow? I'm not saying it was a bad show. Hey, listen, we all had our taste. I'm just saying it wasn't my favorite cartoon, Mr. Meow Meow. I remember liking others more than it, but I definitely watched it. YoungYakov is going for the gold base. He mined out when I wasn't paying attention. Actually, yeah, he did. So he's going for the gold base, and this makes Trigger mauled. I think a lot of European Zergs especially know that. Country's the world song. I do remember that, actually. I do remember that. And, guys, in a bit after this, we're going to be casting the Up to 6K Patches tournament. You can be any MMR under 6K, and you can point at, guys, !B, !Patches. Patches will be casting and streaming, too, with his buddy. It's a $120 tournament. You could be Platinum or Diamond and still playing it. And yes, you have to play up to 6K players. Should be a lot of fun, and actually I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I might play in it too. I know Florencio wants to cast. I'm going to talk to him. Maybe I'll play my game first. Maybe Florencio could... That's a big reach. But, you know, Dave, you got to pay me for coaching. But maybe Flo could be in my ear while I play 2 games. I might sign up for it. I still have time to sign up. That would be pretty funny to see. Dave trying to do... yeah, there's a loser's bracket. Exactly. There's a loser's bracket in OSC as well. The Masters Cup. So we do have the playoffs and the Masters Cup coming for this. Trigger with a bit of a no rally on the gateway. It means the adept spawned on the bottom. Imagine if this was a little more aggressive from YoungYakov, who's kind of a cheeser sometimes. Little known for his shenanigans. He is trying to go for a Ling run by, too. And Trigger is moving across with his first adept. Second coming as well, and he is going for Stargate. With Warp Gate on the back of it. Very standard opener for Trigger. He is going to expect the gold base, but Queen's already here to defend, and there are 4 Lings. That being said, will this adept come in time? It will. YoungYakov is going to scout it, but is Trigger going to send it right across the map? This could be a problem for Mr. Trigger. He can let in 4 Zerglings with Metabolic Boost coming behind it. Oh, look at the timing from YoungYakov. So if you guys have ever watched some others, there's other Protoss players. Geralt does it. I've seen sometimes. Obviously, Max Pax, Hero's done it. You take it your second adept and you shade it up here. The reason is you keep it up here. So if Zerglings come for this very reason. So if a set of Lings gets in, you can just literally go down and kind of clean them up, shade and micro against them. You have something to defend, in other words. There are 3 adepts. It is an Oracle opener, very standard from Trigger, but there's a lot of Lings from YoungYakov. Oracle should help clean this up. The Lings are going to go down. Trigger a little indecisive here on where he's going with the Oracle, though, and he is going to have a delayed third base with YoungYakov getting his natural behind it. All right, that being said, we are going to see Trigger just is defending. So he's got a delayed third base. It's not the end of the world, but a little unfortunate. Oh, no, he has the injured adept in the wall. Trigger doesn't get a full wall here, and YoungYakov wants to get these 2 adepts. Is he going to do so? Looks like 1 may go down. Yes, it will, unfortunately for Trigger. Nice wall at the last second. And, oh, Trigger didn't micro the adept. Well, YoungYakov also didn't micro his Lings. And actually, Trigger, the probe is not helping you right there, mate. He's got 2 Lings surface area. Oh my god, YoungYakov is just doing a lot with Lings. And yet he's thrown in behind it. Some mistakes were made by the T-Man, Mr. Trigger. Jesus, guys, I had to fix my mouse. What in the NA is this? It's Trigger versus YoungYakov. It's what in the NA versus what in the Russia. Mistakes were made, unfortunately. You make them, I make them, Patches. Trigger still makes them. YoungYakov makes them. Even Mr. Meow Meow makes them. Oracle is gonna live, barely. Alright, nice save with just 2 HP from Trigger. Still, he has to be careful. Trigger. I feel like in this series, Trigger was feeling a little, not prepared, maybe? Or maybe he's mentally not with it or not feeling good or something. I'm not insulting, I'm just saying there, you know, obviously there were some little mistakes. I've definitely seen him do a little better than that. And it's not to fault him fully, you know. People have their reasons. I'm the same from YoungYakov. He had some little silly stuff going on. Still, we do have another Evo chamber going down. Glial reconstitution being researched by YoungYakov as well. The Oracle's kind of just scouting around, not really doing too much. Blink Stalker opener with no upgrades. There's no Forge with this from Trigger. I still would have liked the Forge. I know he had a delayed third base. I don't like these +1. Okay. Yeah, he's kind of going for a hero play style with the proxy and no robo. So he's going to line on oracles. He's going to need to build another oracle after, in my opinion, at the least. this gets tough because we have +1 ranged attacks going for YoungYakov, who now has 4 hatches. He's going to go for a Ling run by. There's nothing really there to defend other than a couple stalkers and a shield battery. This is kind of rough. All right, 2 adepts are going to shade out. Will they complete the shade? They will, and they are going to go down. Roaches are scouted. Trigger kind of not getting the most that he's hoping for here for sure. He's pushing out against, like, basically a massive army supply, and we're going to see nothing. Well, I was about to say we're going to see nothing, but army production from YoungYakov, and here he goes. Trigger actually taking a gas behind this, getting a robo, getting a forge. I wish he did that a little earlier. Feels a little whimsical to me. It's not, again, I'm not shitting on Trigger. I'm just saying it's kind of a loosey-goosey feeling, you know, decision on what he's going to do. I think he should have just doubled down on the forge at least. Going into the robo I like, but it's going to be so late. And at the same time, it's going to be Lings and Roaches and Queens. So then it's going to go into Ling, Bane, Ravager probably, if I was to guess, but we'll see. All right, charges are going to be followed up for Trigger. The Lings are certainly going to kill his pylon, or are they? No, they're going for the juicy target that is the Stalkers. The Oracle's kind of in trouble. There's a lot of Queens here. Trigger's fighting right on the doorstep. He has the robo, but he's building nothing with it. I wouldn't hate an Observer. The reason is, obviously, the creep spread, and he doesn't have to waste the energy of the Oracles, but there's not more. Well, there are Lings coming with this, so that's why you need these Oracles for both Pulsar Beams for Zerglings. They can hit the Ravagers, and on top of it, oh no, Trigger's Oracles are in the front line. On top of it, Stasis Wards. So he's using his energy for Rev Tag. I really don't like that. Just being completely honest. Yes, Trigger's insanely better than me when you compare us two, but at the end of the day, it's a matter of preference. I do think he'd find an easier time going the other route. Okay, nice blink back by Mr. Trigger. He is holding the ground there. Still kind of macroing behind this, but not quite. YoungYakov with all these banelings. I called it. It's terrifying. The probe scouts it, but Trigger is not paying attention. He's worried about the blinks. He's going to lose a lot over here. Yep, that's it. But the engagement on the other side is still going, but YoungYakov taking a massive lead, and Trigger losing all these workers is kind of rough. It's going to get more. The last Baneling. Let's take a look at what was lost there. Trigger lost 20 workers, 14 Stalkers, and an Oracle, and then his Adepts as well. Charge has completed, but this is mostly Roach Ravager. A couple Lings over here. All right, Trigger is basically removed them from his... I think he removed them from his control group, so they just were able to jump in there. Shield battery, photon cannon, and a couple units is not going to be enough to take care of this, but Trigger finds his way in the back. The proxy looks like that's going to be over with. It's 1 gate production he's going to lose. He is going into +1. That being said, YoungYakov already has that +1 range attacks, is going into melee, so his Zerglings and Banelings are going to do a little more damage. All right. Yeah, you're just built differently, call me D-Door. That's why the pros end up in different states. We're just all built differently than YoungYakov and Trigger. Still, see what happens. All right, 4th Nexus is going down for Mr. Trigger, and we do have little bits of pushes over here. All right. Well, we do have some creep tumors going down. The Banelings, the Roaches, the Ravagers going out here. Trigger's literally stuck on basically. I wouldn't have hated him getting out a couple Immortals earlier. Like, he has that. He did lose the 20 workers as part of it, but he isn't really doing much with the Robo. He didn't even build an Observer. Like, it's nice to have, but a couple Big Daddy Immortals, yeah, you can't do anything against Lings, but they could even be there in part of a wall component to tank Banes. Obviously die to Zerglings, but it's pretty good against the Roachy boys. Yes, Trigger does need the third. He needs every base to survive. All right, he had to sack some of these Stalkers. Do the Banelings get taken out? They do. Trigger kind of holding, but he's trying to keep this alive, but this is a multi-prong assault. The one Archon is trying to do God's work here as well. Trigger can't really... yeah, he's got to pull workers. It's hard to. He has a few units. I wouldn't hate him just mirror walking half this without even looking. He is going to finally do it after it's held. So he can get back to mining on... He basically has almost 4 base saturation. Not quite. But he's doing a little better than he was earlier, for sure. He did take the rich gas base, so that ultimately when he gets the gas, gets enough workers, we can do it. He's going to be able to catch up a little quicker. And that'd be it. All right, anyway, Trigger not getting into upgrades, and now it's going to be double Evo for YoungYakov, who has +2 ranged attacks coming pretty soon. And he also has +2 ranged attacks behind it. Or, sorry, melee attacks. I said ranged already. All right, with that said, Trigger is finally going into +2. He's going to be way behind in upgrades. Doesn't have Storm or any AoE. Like, it's a game like this where I really feel like, yeah, it sucks losing Disruptors to Ling Ling. There's so many Roaches and Ravagers. You can still get some work. You can hope to catch some of the Banelings, even with some triple hooks. Okay, the Banelings going into the Archon kind of helps a little bit. Obviously, Archons soak a lot of Bane damage pretty easily. But yeah, this is looking a little rough, for sure. All right, Oracle's trying to fight it out. There is a little bit of a run by into the natural. It's Roaches, not Lings. And this army's terrifying. The Queens are even pulled from YoungYakov. Can Trigger hold, guys? +2 ranged attacks did finish behind this too. So this army's stronger than Trigger's. In terms of upgrades, they're higher. Trigger's losing a lot more workers, and I think we might see a GG pretty soon. We'll see here. He's trying to hold his third, but he just doesn't have enough. YoungYakov going to take the first game. The bug race. Holy dirt bugs. Very well done by Mr. YoungYakov. He just went for it. Trigger kind of fell apart a little bit right there. Not going to lie. Ay, ay, ay. Making the other guy defend is so strong in PvZ. Exactly. Guys, I need a minute to stretch out. I should get up. Oh, for sure. For sure. On the Zerg side, you can, they can be caught off guard when they're droning, or after they go for a big attack and they get a little greedy. And Protoss, they don't kill Protoss. They kill up like a 4th base or something to that effect. Protoss is still on 3 bases, and they kept the crucial amount of their good units. They probably can give counterattack and probably just kill the Zerg. And on the other side, you have to do everything you can to defend, and you have to tech up, and you have to upgrade his Protoss defending against the Zerg assault. So, it does go both ways. I do agree with that. Call me D-Door. Obviously, both do, but Zerg, it feels like you're more just hammering on that army key when you need to. Yeah, you need to upgrade. Yeah, you need to tech, but do you really? How many games do we see win with Ling Bane Ravager? You know what I'm saying? Just facts. I can tell you it's a lot more than not. All right, guys, give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. Got our second game. I made you wait forever. I just realized that was quite a bit, but it be what it be. Alright. Here we are. Oops. Let me fix this. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Golden Aura in the red. Give it up for Basilisk Gaming's Trigger, a Protoss player. His opponent in the bottom right in the blue. It is YoungYakov. A Zerg player, a Russian Zerg player. Trigger going for yet another hatch block. In this one. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. YoungYakov. Actually opening pretty standard. And guys, if you want to sign up for the tournament coming up in a bit, there's still time. I don't think I'm going to play in it now. I was debating doing it, but if I'm going to cast with Florencio, I might tell him, though. Maybe Flo will want to see my games. I have time to check in, I think. But it's in like half an hour. We'll see if I have time, and then we'll discuss between you guys. I'll talk to Florencio, and I'll talk to Patches, and maybe I'll actually play the first, round or two. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Trigger just being a little bit annoying on the mineral line. He's going to take some minerals. He's going to scout around with his probe. Everything else looking pretty standard. He's going for a 20 Nexus, 20 core. Probably a Stargate opener. I hope Trigger changes it up. Let's see like resonating glaives. Let's see like 4-gate glaive or something, Trigger. He's been doing a lot of Stargate play, but I haven't seen him pull out any of that stuff in a while. Alright, anyway. We should see some gaming in a bit. YoungYakov's pool is going to finish. He's getting his 2 queens, 4 lings. Is he going to go to metabolic first? I think he is, because he's put all 3 drones still on gas. So he should start pulling them off now. He is. He's going to pull 2 off. He's going to pull 3 off. YoungYakov setting up for a little bit delayed third hatch. It's very in the meta, though. Compared to, like, ZVT. Actually, he's going to probably be able to get it at a really good time with this if he wants. He's not going to do so, though. He could have just taken it, like, right there. He denied the probe, but it would be scouted. Trigger is going for Stargate, guys. Not surprising. Again, a very standard matchup in this one. But still, it's possible. I was hoping. YoungYakov, look at this. Yo, is this Cyril or Dark? YoungYakov manages to get a Zergling in here, guys. Just one. To be annoying, it's a little bit of lost mining time. Oh, a little overreaction from Trigger, unfortunately. But most importantly, you got to scout. At least, even if it's kind of easy to read, it's 100% confirmation. And a little bit of lost mining time. It's kind of worth it for one Zergling. It's 25 minerals. I can actually tell you for sure that was enough probes pulled, but it's definitely pretty good. Looks like a queen, or sorry, an adept did try to get some damage. Escaped fine. We actually did it. No, that was a kill on the adept. So very well done by YoungYakov. He did lose a drone, but at the end of the day, a drone and a Zergling, I think that actually favors YoungYakov a little bit. I mean, in terms of money, clearly, but still. YoungYakov sending some lings out, trying to deny a third base. First Oracle is out, obviously, going across the map. Trigger obviously knows where the third base location is at this point. He's unable to secure the super fast third base again, as we saw in the previous game. Oracle, does it find anything? Finds nada. Gets a drone or 2, but he doesn't want to lose it. Does take a little teeny bit of hull damage. He should be careful, though. I don't know, Trigger. Okay. Trigger. Low. The Ling's over here. Trigger really wants to take the base, but he's not paying attention to this. Does get another drone, so 4 drones. Not too bad. He's going to clean up the Lings, forced to use the Pulsar beam to defend. He does have the Adept kind of in the wall. It's a little out, but that's still enough to defend. Oracle keeping pressure on. Oracle actually on the other side picking off some Lings is pretty nice, but Trigger's Nexus is quite delayed. He's building two... What's the second pylon for? Interesting. Alright. I think he wanted to create another choke just in case. But YoungYakov's actually chilling for a minute. He's going into a Roach War in this game, getting his spores up. He's not being overconfident. As we saw that happens from time to time with Dark yesterday. Guys, for those of you that didn't see the Korean StarCraft League yesterday, I don't mean to spoil the results, but definitely check out my YouTube. It's on there now. Chicken Man, Steadfast, the Cranky Ducklings. I'm pretty sure Loco and Winter will have something. Maybe Pig, who knows. Keep your eyes out. Every so often, Wardy does, or Zombie Grub. Maybe one day we'll have a surprise in Artosis. He'll do it too. And Dan will feel generous to help out StarCraft too. Actually, that's something else after Atlanta because of money. Guys, something I'm going to be doing is one of the sub-goal things. As I mentioned before, I was really strongly considering saying I'm retired. But it's not like I'm a pro player. But what I mean by that is I'm just kind of chilling on StarCraft a little bit more. But I plan on doing a... Artosis said he'd be down doing like a show match. Maybe 2 show matches, depending on his time when he normally streams. And if Mapu's around. I mean, he could always follow my camera, but he might insist on Mapu. And I wouldn't mind too, but, you know, it's going to cost all the money for just a show match. We'll see what we can do. But it might be Hero versus Beyond. Was voted on Twitter. Might be Hero versus Beyond and Steadfast versus Sale. I think that'd be hilarious. Casted by Artosis and I. So then I can say I basically did all the things. Then I just got to cast with Roddy one more time and Loco, and we're good. Actually, I should make it a point where I got to cast with anybody, but still, then you'd be like, Dave, you'll never retire. Alright, anyway. It's going to be Blinkstalker +1. I like this a little better from Trigger this time, but there is a Spire from YoungYakov going for +1 melee. I think he may actually be going into Mutas, guys. Robo Bay and Templar Archives from Trigger. I don't hate this. I don't like the... Oh, no, the Stalker's going to be surrounded, and that's the only thing defended for the moment. The Shield Battery's going to be a point of interest, and Trigger's kind of a little slow to react here. Namely because he doesn't have Blink ready yet, but he could have warped in some stuff, I feel like. He might have been... Yeah, he might have been supply block for a second, but... Alright, decent force field, but... a little late on the micro. He doesn't lose too much yet, but it's not over. Still a good amount of Lings over here. And actually, that second pylon comes in to help him, as it provides less surface area against the Stalker. And nice micro by Trigger, actually, with the probes. That was not too bad. That could have been a lot worse. 6 probes going down is rough. Okay, that went a little worse. But not a lot. Okay, what? Trigger? Okay. I just jinxed it. You guys can blame that on me. Trigger, if you end up hearing this or seeing this. It was not your fault. It was entirely my fault. Even if it was after the fact. Oh no, the Mutas are out. Trigger is going into a Phoenix, getting a Colossus as well. But this is going to be a decent amount of Mutas. YoungYakov even going to +1. Trigger's going to need another Stargate, and I do like that he's trying to get it. He's getting some shield batteries. Does have a Photon Cannon and Innis Mineral Line. His 4th base is a little exposed, but he does have some Blink Stalkers to maybe buy a little bit of time. Oh no, the Oracle. I like how Trigger's split the Oracles. The Mutas chase them down. That might actually buy Trigger the time he needs, but there's so many Mutas coming. 14 Mutas out, 6 more in production. That's kind of terrifying for Trigger. Alright, that being said, a Ling run by going into the 4th base as well. Might be a bit of a problem. Phoenixes are starting to come out a bit at a time. Hopefully he doesn't YOLO this Colossus, though. That could be scary. There is an Archon to get some splash damage on some of the Mutas. Only 1 Photon Cannon in here again to defend. Trigger's just getting 1 Phoenix in production at a time. He's forced to make some Stalkers, but I really wouldn't hate that double Phoenix. I don't hate the extended Thermal Lance Colossus either, because he's got his Templar Archives for Archons and stuff. The Colossi can get some good ranged attacks on the Lings, and the Archons can buffer so they don't get, you know, the Colossi doesn't just get surrounded and go down. That being said, alright, decent number of Phoenixes. Does Trigger get in here? He has to be careful. These 3 eating in. He's going to lose a Phoenix. It looks like he doesn't go to... He should have went to the shield battery, honestly. Just a personal opinion. If he went into the shield battery, I think he saved that first Phoenix, at the least. Battery overcharge isn't even a factor anymore, but +1 Flyer attacks went down for YoungYakov, who's just now getting his 5th hatch. Oh, well, it's completed, actually, and he's taken another base. Oh, my God. YoungYakov is now incredibly ahead. He's 80 drones on 6 bases. The 6th hatch finishing here, and he's even got gold. This is getting terrifying for Trigger. He might need +1 air. I really wouldn't have hated him going into +1 air. Blink Stalkers are going to be here to buffer a little. Trigger, you can blink, man. Doesn't have enough. Okay, the Archon and the Phoenixes could be good. Do the Phoenixes pick up a Muta or 2? Like, this is the kind of shit where it doesn't hurt to get a Fleet Beacon for Anion Pulse Crystals. That's the Phoenix range for those of you that don't know. Ridiculous. Print Q. Blasphemy. All right, another Phoenix coming. The Phoenix is going to try to chase this down, but there's so many Mutas. Phoenixes do have a couple shield batteries, but they don't want to get clumped up into the glaives of the Mutas. There's a lot of Lings coming. Banelings being morphed. Do we have centrifugal hooks? We do not. Excuse me. I got an ash on my keyboard. Nothing I could have done better there. Alright, Fleet Beacon's coming. Trigger is going into +1 air. Finally. Isn't going to matter. He's a good Phoenix count, though. As long as he doesn't throw them, he should be okay. You do have to micro the Phoenixes a bit. Obviously, you don't have to A-move them, but... That said, it's not a bad idea. He's going into more High Templar. That's a lot of Ling Bane. Centrifugal Hooks has just now started. Trigger, you're out of position, and that's a goddamn lot of Banelings. That's enough to just destroy this base, even if he doesn't get the probes, but that's enough to get everything right there. Muta's even going in, harassing the main base, possibly jumping in production, and now we have Corruptors out. That's very scary for Trigger. Does he have Anion Pulse Crystal started? He does not. Fleet Beacon not really being utilized yet, but he just lost 16 probes. He saves the base, though, and realistically saved a lot of his army. The Mutas are scary, but now that there's some Corruptors, a lot coming in. Yeah, he's only relying on 1 Colossi. Yeah, Trigger didn't get charged either, might I add. So that's, I mean, not unexpected from what he had to do in a way. But at the end of the day, 2 Archons are going to go try to fight this up, but they're slow, chonky boys. Try to yeet around it. Okay, Trigger splitting off his army. I do like this. He needs to get something done on the other side of the map, and that said, he's trying his damn hardest to. A lot of work is falling down. The Photon Cannons and the Phoenixes. Target firing the Corruptors, unfortunately. If he takes out the Corruptors, he can jump on top of the Phoenixes, though. YoungYakov coming in with a lot of Lings, and the Archon's derping. Trigger needs a force field. He's not paying attention over here, unfortunately, because, well, he is trying to deal with the air. He wants to kill the Mutas, but now he has to deal with all of this. And truthfully, I think this would have went a lot better. He's only going to save a few Stalkers at best. What does he have left? 7 Phoenixes, 3 Archons, and 2 Stalkers. But if he landed the force field and basically caught that Archon, rather, he could have defended. Phoenix is getting some good damage done. Kind of picking at the Mutas. Okay, everything's running into the Archons. Helps a bit. The Archon out of range of the battery overcharge, however, is going to be a bit of a problem. These Phoenixes can't really fight the Corruptors efficiently. They do have +1, but their Zerg player has +2 flyer attacks. Going into +3. When do you ever see +3 flyer attacks? And that's 2 points on the board for YoungYakov. Concluding Group Stage D. Yes, that was a little unprofessional for me to split them up, but you know how it is. All right, anyway. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I gotta check when Florencio gets back. I might take a few before. That was this. We're going into the Patches tournament in just a